Live for Dark DC Studios in Eddyville, Kentucky. It's time for another episode of Evolution of Survivor Strategy. This week we're breaking down Survivor Africa, the third season of Survivor, and the first season that Dark DC ever watched. A lot of stuff to talk about. Your host, Dark Beast. Hello, Easy Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. This is Chapter 3. The title I am going with this week, or this episode, or chapter, is Tribe Mix-Up and the Idea of Betrayal. So Survivor Africa is one of those seasons that I love. And it's one of those early seasons, like I said in my little mini intro. Survivor Africa was the first season of Survivor I ever watched. I didn't watch the whole season when it came on because I was like, the season came out back in 2001, so I was probably 10 years old. And the only things I really remembered was T-Bird. One of the scenes I always remembered is T-Bird in the water gallon challenge. And, I watched a little bits of it, so watching Big Tom, and I actually met Big Tom at Rupp Arena at a Kentucky basketball game. Me and my brother, we were leaving the game, and we saw this one guy comes up, and I was like, man, he kind of looks familiar. And there was these girls taking pictures in front of the middle of Rupp Arena, and not in the middle of Rupp Arena, but the outside the lobby thing, and he just kind of sneaks in, gets a little picture. It's like, what's this weird guy? They're all like, what's this weird guy doing? Like, it's like, don't y'all want a picture of me? And they're like, no, what? Who are you? He's like, I'm Big Tom from Survivor. And I was like, holy crap, that is Big Tom from Survivor. That is amazing. And so that was one of those cool little moments, because Survivor has always been one of my favorite shows ever on TV. And actually, to meet Big Tom, I wish I had that picture. Unfortunately, my brother's phone messed up, and I did not get the picture with him to save forever. And I'm really sad, and I've always been sad, disappointed about that. But it was cool meeting him, and it was cool getting a picture with him, even though I don't ever have it. But I have the memories of actually meeting Big Tom. And it was cool going back and rewatching this season of Survivor, because I love Big Tom. All right, let's get right into it. Let's talk about this season of Survivor. So, Africa's third season of Survivor, and just like Australia Outback, the season begins with them hiking to their tribes. And there's a lot of interesting things to talk about to the before we get to like the merge and stuff. And one of the things I really like about this season was, the first tribe you had, the Bayon tribe. I believe that's what the tribe name was. Hold on while I look through my mini notes. Well, whatever the tribe was called. So, or Bayon, whatever the tribe name was. Basically, the first two challenges, Bayon loses the challenge, and they go after the weaker women. Basically, that was kind of the things. And then we see this introduction of this three-person alliance of Ethan, Big Tom, and Lex. The three are kind of dominating the tribe. They have their things going on. And so it goes down to them six. Then the Samburu tribe kind of melts down. And one of the interesting things about this tribe, the Samburu tribe, this was probably, so far in the series, is the most dysfunctional tribe I've ever seen on Survivor. And like I said, I'm only counting up to season 3 at this moment. So I think Samburu is probably one of the most dysfunctional for a tribe that was winning all these challenges. They were really just falling apart. And what was interesting was it was divided 50-50%. It was a battle of generations. You had the younger ones who like to sleep in, the Generation X, and then you have the older generation who are more the work hard, do all these things. And the two tribes are the tribe is divided into two. And the first vote, it's a deadlock tie. And so we're still implementing the rules from Australia Outback, where all votes that happened before you, prior to that, count against you. And I don't love that twist. I still don't like that twist. I think it's very stupid. I didn't realize it's still going on in Survivor Africa. But since there was no votes against them, since it was the first tribal council, they did a challenge where they had their survival guide they've been looking through for days and days at a time. And so they asked them a question. The first one to miss a question, or whoever gets the wrong first and the other one gets it right, that's who goes home. And then you see basically Carl misses that question. Kelly gets it. The younger tribe wins. They move on to the next challenge. They lose again, and they get rid of the girl. And it was interesting watching Silas play this game because I thought Silas was actually playing a pretty decent strategic Survivor game. He was kind of dominating the game. At the first, he was kind of playing both sides, and he kind of seemed a little more cocky, but he was playing pretty good. So what happens next is one of these things that becomes a very common thing, and that's the big twist of the season. So up to this point, we get these tribes, they battle each other. Once we get to 10, we merge. This season brought a new wrinkle to it. At 12, each tribe picked their three members to go to this thing, and basically what happened was they swapped tribes. So you have Lex, Big Tom, and Kelly all swapped to the Samburu tribe. And then you have Silas and T-Bird and Frank swapped to the Bayon tribe. And this is very interesting to watch because T-Bird and Frank are dead man walking. And once they swapped tribes, it brought life into that tribe, but also swap screwed. And that's a term that I'm introducing in this, is what will be known as being swap screwed. What it basically means is you're in a great position in the game. Everything's going in your favor, and then the tribe swap happens, and you're screwed. And you get voted out pretty quickly after that. And that's what happens to Silas. He was playing a pretty good game, and he gets voted out. Maybe he wasn't, but you could also look at the point he wasn't playing the best game because he got stuck on a tribe with Silas, and he got stuck on a tribe with Frank and T-Bird, two of his allies he wasn't close with, once who they couldn't come up with this tribe unity thing, and they were ready to sell Silas down the river, and Silas goes home whenever they lose that challenge. And then we go on to the other tribe, the new Samburu tribe, loses. But it was kind of interesting thing to watching the tribal lines, because it's still two tribes, the two tribes facing each other. Even though they're on the other side, doesn't mean their loyalties are gone. And you see that little moment of Kelly, or not Kelly, but Kim holds out the big L, and they're all like, "L, what's that mean?" And basically tells us that is Laura or Lindsay. That means Lindsay has votes, because remember, if a tribal council is gone to a deadlocked tribal council, and both have 3 and they go again at 3, all votes that happened before you, that's who goes home. And that's what happens. They are trying to fool them, but you can only fool so much. Lindsay goes home, and a very funny Survivor moment, whenever she sees that vote for Lindsay, she's like, "It's okay, guys. It's just a game." And Probst is like, "Lindsay, what are you doing? It's not over yet." She's like, "Oh, okay." So moving on, we get right into the merge, and that's where we really start to develop this narrative of Lex. Now, Lex is one of those players who I'm putting him in this. I'm putting him in the one or the two people where I'm not going to count Kobe, because I do think Kobe in season 2 deserved to win the game. But bad jury management. He made it to the finals. I'm considering Lex one of those people who definitely deserved to win but didn't make it to it. And Lex, I think, is the first example of this phenomenon. And Lex played a very dominant game, but as I'll get more into it as I talk about some of the things going on. But that first vote, once the two tribes merge, what I like is that one of the things I love about the tribe mix-up, it allows more integration of the two tribes becoming one, instead of it looking at This is our one side, this is the other side. Do those lines still happen? Absolutely. But there's way more of the survivor politics in this that you recognize. Like, the first vote is a vote against Clarence. And Clarence, he was a very troubled guy, opened a bag of bees, but really started to redeem himself later towards the game. And they vote. Lex's whole idea is to get rid of Clarence because he is a competition guy. He's an athlete. I mean, look at him. He's a strong built guy. So Clarence is a easy vote, but this is where the game gets very interesting. That's when Clarence votes for Lex. Okay, one votes, but someone else votes for Lex, and that's person T-Berg. And T-Berg makes a smart move by saying, I'm not saying I voted for Lex. I'm not an idiot. So Lex goes crazy. He thinks someone betrayed him. He's like, who voted for me? Who voted for me? He's trying to figure this all out. And he thinks he found the rat, the betrayal. And he basically throws Kelly down the river and votes to get rid of Kelly, basically bringing Brandon along, who was a guy who was on the Samburo side. And so, and the interesting thing about this could have gone completely wrong for Lex, Ethan, and Tom, and Kim, because if Brandon sticks with his original tribe, and now that Kelly has votes with the Samburo side, that means Lex goes home at Final 9. So his idea of vengeance and betrayal completely blinds him. But you have to look at it in another sense, that Lex was able to befriend Brandon at such a good level and build him as an ally at those days at Samburo, that it completely blinded Brandon, and they were able to take out Kelly. And it's kind of just Kelly's one person who, if she ever came back, I would be like, okay, she's an interesting player to come back again. I think that I would totally be fine with that. So as the season goes along, we're seeing basically after this, it's basically a knockout they're going after the Samburo members. Ethan and Tom don't trust Brandon, and it really starts shaking up the alliance between Ethan, Tom, and Lex. And Lex is like, I'm not voting for Brandon. He did a good thing for us. We're not doing it. But they don't trust him, because anyone who will betray their alliance is not going to think twice about voting out. And you know what? They got a point. So Brandon goes home next. After that, Frank goes home. And when this season, really, there's a lot of great characters in this season, from Ethan to Lex. Big Tom is awesome. Big Tom is easily, I've talked about it at the beginning of this episode, but I love Big Tom. Just a great character. The episode where him and Lex go on the African safari is just a great thing. And that's one of the things I want to talk. I know this is mostly about the evolution of the Survivor strategy, but I love the adventure of this show. And that's one of the things I miss from classic Survivor seasons, is we don't see that sense of adventure and great, just the fun stuff that we saw from the original Survivor, like the stuff with the African land and everything. And it's cool seeing a Survivor season where it's not on a freaking tropical island. So it was very cool to watch this season. But like I said, the relationship between Tom and Lex, very good. Tom he's smarter than what people think he is. He made 2 very deep runs in Star. I'll talk about his other run when I get to Survivor All-Stars, and I'll talk about some of the other players. But another player I really like to talk about is T-Bird. I think T-Bird played a very good game for a game that she was saying. It's a crime that T-Bird has not been back in a Survivor season, because I think she would be great in a modern day Survivor season. The way she was playing the game, the way she planted seeds, and the thing that really drove a wedge between Tom and Lex is a lot of the seeds of doubt that T-Bird did to saying that Big Tom was part of this alliance, anything to save her butt. But she played this very loyal, heroic game. And I think T-Bird is one of those classic Survivor players that I want to see come back and play again. So we get to the finals, and basically, Kim goes on a mini immunity run. She wins those last 2 immunities, they take out Big Tom, and Lex deserves to win this season. It's hard to deny him, but he got sick at the end of it. They say he had diarrhea, went to the bathroom about 10, 12 times, and he just was not at 100%. And it's hot in Africa. Obviously, it's Africa. And he loses that challenge, and Kim basically takes Ethan to the finals because it'll be easier to beat Ethan than it is Tom than Lex. But I think there's more to it than that, because if I was watching this entire season and you see that the social game that Ethan Stone plays is Ethan is probably one of those more underrated Survivor players, because like I said, Lex made all the moves, and Lex is the Survivor player that I love to watch play. He's the guy who's in the front, he's making the moves, he's leading the team along, where Ethan's kind of the guy, he's playing the background, he's playing the more of the social game. He's winning a few challenges, he's not winning a lot of challenges, but he's playing a very good Survivor strategy game. And but Ethan, when he gets to that final, he played a good social game, friending everyone between Frank and everything. He didn't care really much for Kelly but the relationship he had with Tom and Lex and Kim. I mean, his whole relationship with Kim is why Kim took Ethan to the finals, and also Ethan was more humble than Lex, because Lex knew he thought he deserved it, where Ethan said, I don't know if I deserve it. And it's kind of like George Washington as president. Sometimes the one who doesn't want it is the one that deserves it the most. And and like I said, Ethan wins the game, and he played I think Ethan played probably he played one of those great Survivor social games that it's classic Survivor how he wins that game. That social game was on point. And yeah, Ethan deserved to win out of the 2. Like I said, I think Lex is the one of those guys who probably deserves to win the most. But I think Ethan, of the 2 that were in the final 2, Ethan deserved to win. So guys, that ends this episode of the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. This is chapter 3. I'm moving along. I finished this season pretty quickly. I just watched it basically in 2 days. It followed on my weekend, kind of, because I really don't have weekends anymore, it feels like. Anyways, so yeah, I really enjoyed rewatching this season. My next season is Survivor Marquesas, and to be honest with you, I've seen maybe a scene or 2 of Survivor Marquesas. I've actually never watched the entire series from start to end, so I'm actually really looking forward to watching Marquesas and watching the first season with Boston Rob, even though he didn't make it far. It's still going to be cool to watch him play. So yeah, that ends this episode. So guys, make sure you check out my other YouTube channel. Make sure you check out the Darth Easy Show podcast network. I have all kinds of podcasts. Nothing's really coming out other than this podcast right now. Also, make sure you check out my main Darth Easy YouTube channel. I will have an announcement video coming out, I believe this Friday if I get to it this week. But it's a big project I've been working on, and I'm finally going to start finishing it up and starting a cool process every few days. So check that out Friday, and like I said, check back here next time when I go into chapter 4 of the Evolution of Survivor Strategy. And remember, guys, stay safe out there. Everything is getting crazy in the world, but we can survive this. Get it? Okay. All right, guys, take it easy. All too easy. Bye.